These are this afternoon's top stories. Federation to host Diplomat Week in 2016. Carnival chairman promises more activities and more than 300 dead in South Asia quake. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, October 27th, 2015. I am JD Keynes. In national news, St. Kitts and Nevis is making plans toward hosting Diplomat Week from April 3rd to 8th, 2016. That disclosure came late last week when the country's Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Mark Brantley, met with honorary councils. The St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service is reporting the theme for Diplomat Week will be forging new partnerships and strengthening networks for a more unified and prosperous St. Kitts and Nevis. Meantime, at that meeting of honorary councils, Senior Diplomat Brantley said it is important for St. Kitts and Nevis to implement reforms, noting that the Federation must continue to address education and capacity building and promote shared prosperity and social justice. Other critical areas he believes need to be addressed are poverty, unemployment, youth delinquency, and citizen security. The reforms were described as necessary for small states like St. Kitts and Nevis to complete successfully and capitalize on opportunities in a changing globalized world.
Next week we intend to have more items. We intend to have them with more frequency for everybody really and truly to know that Carnival is in the air.
That's the promise of Carnival chairman Noah Mills, who was at the time giving an update on the pre-Carnival events hosted to date. This week, Wednesday, the organizing committee will host a mini motorcade and whistle stop to solicit sponsors for the Junior Street Parade. And on Friday, it will host the first of 4 soca tents at the ferry terminal. Carnival is expected to swing into high gear next month.
The formal opening of Carnival will be Friday, November 13th, and then the following week, November 20th, we'll have the introduction or the presentation or the launch of all the contestants/participants. So you will have contestants for the National Queen, you have contestants for the swimwear, you have participants for the Mr. GQ, and you'll even have some of the Calypsonians performing and some of the soca artists right here.
That's Carnival chairman Noah Mills. Project Poetry, the acronym for Putting Our Energies Toward Refocusing Youth, is a high school competition initiated by Island Expressions, which encourages students to use written and spoken word poetry as preferred forms of expression. Chairperson of the initiative, Samuel Duggins, says the goal is to give young people a voice to express their concerns about today's society.
We realized that there were some deep-seated issues resting in the hearts and minds of our young people. And we thought it would be important for us to reach into the high schools and reach the younger teens, so to speak, before these issues manifested into problems. And thus we started Project Poetry, which is a national spoken word competition, and it spans all the high schools across the Federation.
Duggins said there are major social ills plaguing society that young people can help to rectify. He believes it is important to hear what they have to say.
We decided, hey, let's go into the high school, let's reach these kids, let's find where the issues are, all the way down to the root of the issue, and see how we could fix it. And more or less, Project Poetry is our end to this group, in terms of something that they could enjoy while providing the information as to how to fix some of these social ills that we are facing.
The 5th annual Project Poetry High School competition is being held under the theme Reimagining and Reshaping Our Education System. The final show will take place on November 28th, 2015. The local cancer organizations are pulling out all the stops this October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So far, we've seen health walks, a lighting ceremony, and a cocktail. This Friday, Essence of Hope will host the inaugural Men in Heels Celebrity Dash at 4:30 p.m. at the Berkeley Memorial, also known as the Circus. Volunteer Joella Gums stopped by our studio this morning to give an overview of the event.
The Men in Heels Dash, it's the first one ever. We really just wanted to get men more involved in the conversation about breast cancer. You know, it affects the significant others in their lives, you know, the women, their sisters, their mothers, their aunts, you know, cousins. And we, you know, men can be affected by breast cancer, though not a great percentage, but we really wanted to get them in on the conversation a bit more.
Gums is expecting a successful event, noting that popular media personalities from ZIZ Radio and television have confirmed their participation.
We have quite a bit of men that will be participating that we hand selected, you know, some popular faces. We actually have some guys, you know, from your crew here at Ziz. So any other men that want to participate on the day of, all they need to do is show up with a pair of heels.
We'll have more from that interview in tonight's major newscasts. We'll take a break and be right back.
Hey there everyone, I'm GQ and that's GCUE from ZIZ Radio 96.1 Morning Show. Invited you to check out the show and check out the vibes, man. It's informative, it's entertaining, and trust me, I have the hits of today. So when you get a chance, check it out for yourself, man. It's ZIZ Radio 96.1. Tune in and let's have some fun.
Regionally, the Antigua and Barbuda cabinet is taking a tough stance on its policy of awarding contracts by government ministries, statutory corporations, and independent government agencies. The move is reportedly designed to stamp out corruption in the public sector.
At a special cabinet meeting on Saturday, the members reaffirmed an earlier decision that all such contracts must first be submitted to the tenders board. Cabinet spokesman Lionel Max Hurst says this is an indication that the cabinet wants to ensure strict adherence to the Tenders Board Act. Hurst says the policy governs all contracts for goods and services entered into the country. Hurst says the policy governs all contracts for goods and services entered into the country by the different government ministries, statutory corporations and agencies. He states that contracts that do not have the blessings of the Tenders Board run the risk of not being paid. In order to ensure full compliance, he further explained, since every statutory corporation, board or government agency falls under a minister's portfolio, the Cabinet of Ministers will also play a supporting role. This is despite the unique space carved out for the Tenders Board, as only the Tenders Board can grant waivers. Hurst says the Cabinet also noted that the fences scandal was made possible by splitting large contracts into many smaller contracts in order to circumvent the rule. He adds that Cabinet has reiterated its position on this matter. He says any splitting of a large contract into several smaller ones that is intended to cause a contract to fall below any fixed threshold is also unlawful. The Cabinet agreed that there shall be strict adherence to the law. Azara Lavier, ABS News.
Liat, the Caribbean airline, has launched an online check-in service, giving customers the option to complete their check-in formalities via the internet. The online check-in, which started on October 26th, can be done by logging on to www.liat.com 24 hours before the scheduled departure time and up to 2 hours prior to departure. A release from the company states that the new service is available to Liat customers in possession of a valid revenue ticket who are traveling with hand baggage only, and is currently available to customers traveling from Antigua, Barbados, Grenada, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Puerto Rico, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Martin, and Trinidad. Internationally, rescuers were picking their way through rugged terrain and pockets of Taliban insurgency in the search for survivors after a massive quake hit Pakistan and Afghanistan, killing more than 350 people. The toll was expected to rise as search teams reach remote areas that were cut off by Monday's powerful 7.5 magnitude quake, which triggered landslides and stampedes as it toppled buildings and severed communication lines. Disaster management authorities say the bulk of the casualties recorded so far have been in Pakistan, where 241 people were killed and more than 1,600 injured. The military has also sent medical teams, tents, and rations to affected areas. Adesha Chambers, 25, faces 4 counts of second-degree murder after crashing her car into a homecoming parade, killing 4 people and injuring 46 more. Here's that story.
The video is disturbing. First, you hear the driver hit a police motorcycle, then you see the gray car plow into a crowd of screaming parade goers. The moment of impact, too graphic to show.
I need a bunch of help. We got a car in the crowd up here.
The casualty count is staggering. 4 dead, 47 injured at the homecoming parade at Oklahoma State University.
It hit people just like thump, thump, thump as people were flying.
The woman behind the wheel, 25-year-old Adesha Chambers, first charged with driving under the influence, but now police adding 4 counts of second-degree murder. Amid the carnage and chaos, authorities say one parade goer held her down until police could cuff her. Investigators believe she was on drugs when she drove into the crowd Saturday morning. Her attorney says she definitely wasn't drunk and doubts she took drugs, but cannot rule anything out until he sees toxicology results.
And in my opinion, Ms. Chambers suffers from a mental illness. Exactly what type is yet to be determined. She doesn't remember a whole lot about what happened. There was a period where she could have even blacked out.
He also believes his young client is suicidal, although she's unlikely to get much sympathy from a heartbroken community. Mourning the loss of 65-year-old retired OSU professor Marvin Stone and his wife Bonnie, 23-year-old MBA student Nikita Nakal, and 2-year-old Nash Lucas. His father posting on Facebook, "I miss you so much, buddy." So much sadness in this community. Along with her attorney this morning, we are also hearing from Chambers' father, who tells ABC News his daughter is, quote, a good Christian girl.
And now taking a look at the weather, temperatures will peak at 79 degrees Fahrenheit with a light breeze blowing east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. Skies are cloudy with a high chance of showers. Tonight is forecast to be partly cloudy to cloudy with some passing showers. Sunset this evening is expected at 5:41 and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:08 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thanks for tuning in. I'm JD Keynes. Have a great afternoon.